And should we tease next season or should season 2
Season 2
premiere just got a reissue that everyone's been talking about, and it's just one of the biggest classics, one of the early albums that I think was one of the first great albums that ever existed, if I'm being honest. And
that's a statement.
It's the Beatles and Revolver. Yeah, with the Beatles again.
We should start every season with a Beatles album.
Maybe, yeah. So this is...
I know Eleanor Rigby.
Yeah, you should.
I know Yellow Submarine.
Yeah.
My mom did not appreciate the Beatles.
Can't imagine it. Cool. So I thought that would be a great opener for a new season. So.
All right.
Hello everybody, welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to the return of Classic Albums 101. We took a little bit of a hiatus, a little bit of a break, but now we're back on it for this year. We're kind of refreshing for a season 2, but much the same format. We do a reaction to a song from the album, and then we go into our separate corners and listen to the album in full, and then we come back and just talk about it on the channel. So I've got Jana here, of course.
Hi.
And the reason we do this show is because Jana isn't familiar with a lot of these classic albums.
I know like hits.
Yeah.
A few hits here and there, but I don't listen to full albums, and so this is an opportunity to go back and listen to a classic album.
Yeah. And so I thought it would be fitting to start with the Beatles. We did that, I think season 1, I think we started with Abbey Road. Mm-hmm. So now I thought since they just had a new remastered version come out, that's pretty popular, I thought we'd listen to Revolver. So I'm picking a track from it called Here, There, and Everywhere that we're going to listen to right now together.
Here, There, and Everywhere.
And we'll see. Sometimes I've heard that the Beatles have copyright claims happen, so if there's no audio to it, that's why that's happening. But hopefully it'll work, so we'll see. But yeah, a short little Beatles song that's probably shocking you don't know it already, but...
Sorry. The Beatles songs that I know are the ones that are on the One album.
Yeah.
And now Abbey Road, I've heard those songs.
And that's why I didn't pick, there's a few on here that I'm sure you'd know, like Eleanor Rigby.
Oh, I know that one.
Yellow Submarine is
I know that one.
So, but I tried to pick something I thought was just obscure enough. Mm-hmm. And by saying obscure, it's like a massive, well-known song. But... to you, to me, not one on the One album, I guess.
It's sad how much I don't know about the Beatles.
Yeah, so this is Here, There, and Everywhere. Just a really beautiful song, I think. So, just 2.5 minutes.
We'll see if I've heard it before.
We'll see. Maybe you've heard it.
I don't recognize it just by the name. So.
Okay. All right. There you go. Just a sweet little song, right?
That is. It's like a sweet little love song about someone just needing to always be around his girl. I love it.
Yeah.
Aw. I'm
Does it sound familiar? That's the big question.
maybe.
Right? Okay.
I don't know. Like maybe I've heard it, or like you've played it once in the background.
That's possible.
I don't know, but I didn't recognize it.
Okay.
Like maybe like that.
Yeah, that
like
melody
maybe
sounds
that
familiar.
melody.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's one of those things like where it's just in the air, you know. It's just out there, and
like it's probably been
just
in
a popular song,
a movie or something like that.
Or you've heard it like offhand and on the radio somewhere.
Yeah.
Or, like who knows where, but yeah, it's a pretty big song. It's known, like I think was primarily written by Paul McCartney. He's the one who's the primary singer there, and a lot of people consider it one of his best written songs. So.
I like the ooze in the background. Like they were only there for like the first part of the song, and then I think they came back again at the end. But like when they went away, it was like a drastic difference in my ear of like how the song sounded.
Yeah.
But I liked it a lot. Like those background vocals that were like, you know,
yeah, very nice.
Can't do it like they can, but but it was nice. It was just a sweet little song.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So hopefully that bodes well for the full album. We're going to be listening off in our separate places. We don't listen to the full album on the channel. We just listen to it in our own ways, and then we reconvene just to talk about it.
I usually listen to it in a car.
Yeah, I usually listen to it on vinyl. So we have different methods, but we talk about it afterwards.
I just don't sit and listen to music. Like that's not what I do.
You kind of have to be doing something.
I have to be doing something, and so driving in a car is very like therapeutic, and listening to music. Like, it works. It's a good spot for me.
Works pretty well because you know, not that you don't need full attention to drive, but it's action you're doing where you can, you know, pay more attention to the music while you're doing it.
I can.
Yeah. As you know, there's other activities where the music just fades away because you have to focus on your task at hand. So, but anyways, yeah. So,
all right.
I guess we'll transition.
Special effects.
Special effect time. Transition. Our big budget channel with all our special effects. Go.
And we're back.
So we just listened to a song. Well, on the video, we just listened to Here, There, and Everywhere. We've gone off and listened to the album separately in our own ways. The album we're talking about is Revolver. And now we're just going to discuss the album and how we felt about it and talk a little bit. Just a quick discussion about our favorite songs from it and just our general impressions.
I knew several of the songs on here.
Yeah?
Several, like 4 or something. I don't know. 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
Know, something like that. You know, all the ones on the one album.
Sure, yeah.
Because that's the only Beatles album I know.
Oh, tragic.
Sorry. But this, I thought was really good. And the only, like, research I did on it was that it was from 1966.
Good job.
Do you have more research to give me context?
Okay, well, just slightly. I probably won't go too much into depth, but of course the Beatles are an English rock band formed in Liverpool in 1960, featuring John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr. Iconic lineup. Stayed the same throughout their career here. This is basically, in my opinion, like right in the middle of their discography. You know, like you said, it came out in 1966. The career basically spans the 60s. You know, and I think Let It Be, their final statement, came out like in 1970. So this is basically the jumping off point for them getting a little bit more experimental, adding a little bit of a different psychedelic edge to it. I read a lot about how like their experimentation with LSD and things like that were influencing this music and other explorations. The album before this is called Rubber Soul, which was basically more in the older style Beatles, but you know, modernizing a bit for its day. So each of these albums are very influential at their time, and this album, Revolver, really stepped up the game and like showcased some new techniques in recording it and just with experimentation within the songs themselves.
I think that really like lines up to how I was thinking about it, because there were moments when I felt like the songs were like more oldies sounding, you know, and I thought, oh, I bet my mom might like this one, because I'm always trying to look for a Beatles song my mom might like, which
she's not a big Beatles fan.
And then there are other times where I'm like, this one sounds more like that documentary that we watched. What was that documentary? Get Back. Yeah. So, well, you watched all of it.
You watched some of it, yeah.
I watched some of it. Some of it I slept through. Some of it I actually watched. Yeah. So, anyway. But some of it, like, and I knew that was, like, later on in their career. And so, like, some of these songs, like, felt more, like you said, experimental. Some of them felt, like, more earlier, like, oldie sounding. And then there were ones that were, like, smack dab in the middle. I'm like, this just sounds like a 60s, like, Austin Powers type of, like, song that should be in, like, a 60s party movie or something. I don't know.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, so...
No, I think that's fair. Like I said, it's a transition album, so you get flavors of that earlier 60s sound, but then them experimenting in several different tracks with something a bit new, with new different ideas and new sounds, more of that psychedelic nature of the time period. That's why a lot of, I think, of prog fans like this album, because it really starts that trend towards progressive rock music, you know.
Right.
Progressive rock really hadn't come about yet. That was a couple years away, but this is one of the albums that really started the trend towards more complex, creative rock music at the time.
Okay. If I were to pick 3 songs off of it, I'm just going to list them all 1, 2, 3.
Okay, let's just do it.
A little bit different.
No, I think that works.
And I'm trying to exclude ones that I already knew. So, like, I already knew Eleanor Rigby.
Sure.
Yellow Submarine. Good Day, Sunshine.
Okay.
And then I think that I had heard Here, There, and Everywhere. And as I've, I know that we
reacted to it.
And in the time, I was like, I think I might have heard it. And then as I've listened to the album and I've heard it again, I'm like,
You're pretty sure you know this
I've heard this before. But I didn't know it. I didn't know it like I knew, like, Eleanor Rigby or Yellow Submarine.
Not as familiar.
Yeah. So I'm excluding those because I'm trying to like pick songs that are new to you. Yeah, that are new to me. And I just liked Taxman. I thought that like it started out with this fun little like song about the Taxman. I liked that one.
Yeah.
I liked And Your Bird Can Sing.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
I thought all of them going through like up until that point, like all the songs sounded like Beatles songs, you know. Shocker, I know. Like I don't know how to explain. Like they had a Beatles sound, you know. And this one I thought was the first one that it wasn't, but like it was the first one that caught my attention, where it sounded like something different. Really like had a really pleasant sound in my ear. Okay. Not that any of the others didn't sound like that. I'm just saying, like this one, like I had like a reaction in the car, like I like the way this sounds. I just, you know, it was just really good. And then the other one that I liked was Dr. Robert.
Okay, that's cool.
I just thought that one was fun. I have not looked up anything on any of these songs. I don't know anything. Tell me about my songs I liked.
Tell you about your songs. Well, Taxman, in regards to the lyrics, I think it's basically about the tax rates that top musicians like the Beatles had to pay, and how, you know, kind of an unfair tax situation. So maybe kind of talking about that a little bit in the lyrics. But yeah, it's just a really cool opening rock song. Just has a cool guitar piece to it. It's actually a song from George Harrison. He contributes 3 songs to this album. So it's a really cool George Harrison track that just has some really cool guitar in it, and shows a little bit of, they have a bit of this Indian influence in a lot of these tracks. This, like, you hear sitar and, like, Indian-style guitars through several of these tracks. I think Taxman has a little bit of that in the way the guitar is playing. So there's that one. You talked about And Your Bird Can Sing, which is just totally a cool John Lennon rock song. Once again, you know, not much more to say about that one, but I think it's a wonderful track too. Just really catchy and fun. I really
liked it.
Yeah, it's a great listenable track.
Catchy's a good word. Catchy for me is good. Like I like a catchy song, because then I feel like it's something that I'll remember and something that has like some kind of hook or I enjoy a good catchy song.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
No, it's cool. That is a cool one. I really love the vocal harmonies and things in it as well. It's really a really cool song. And Dr. Robert is just kind of a fun rocker towards the end, I think. I don't have much more to say about that.
Yeah, that one was just fun.
From my perspective...
Yeah, what are your songs?
Yeah, so I just as a quick mention, I usually listen to these on vinyl. That's part of the experience from my end. And why I wanted to pick this album for the show is because it just recently had a big reissue, remix version that came out.
Is this that one?
And this is that one. There's a huge like box set edition version, but I just went for the single LP version just to get the sound of the new mix. So I really was enjoying the new mix. That was part of the experience for me. I really liked how Eleanor Rigby sounded in this new mix. Just a really beautiful sound. And it's a classic. You know, I don't probably need to say much about it, but it's just a really special song, and I think it's one of their best. And what's interesting about it is besides the vocals, no Beatle is actually playing the music because it's just like a string octet, apparently. So it's just strings and then McCartney's lead vocals. And yeah, it's just a beautiful track.
I think that one is like probably my favorite song on the album.
Yeah,
is Eleanor
and that's
Rigby.
fair because it's just really great. Another,
because I like the name Eleanor,
and that one's because once you know more about the Beatles and stuff, you can kind of tell which Beatle wrote which track. So that's definitely a McCartney track, and another McCartney track that I really love on this that's maybe a bit lesser known, I don't know, is For No One. I thought was really good. Once again, pretty sparse and more of like a ballad, but it's just really great lyrics and really great playing. It features McCartney playing piano, bass, and clavichord, accompanied by Ringo on drums and percussion. There's a French horn solo towards the end that's really beautiful as well. It's just a really nice song that I think is one of the highlights, especially of the second half of the album. I really love Got to Get You Into My Life as well. Just all the horns and the fun sound of it. I know it's taking a big influence from like Motown music at the time, and you know, maybe is copying that style a bit too much, but I really think it's a fun, exciting track. Once again, great work from McCartney on vocals, and just really a fun track that really is light and really provides a good punch in that second part of the album. That was good. And so those are some I really like. I'm Only Sleeping as well, which I think is early psychedelia almost. It kind of has this lazy feel to it. And I think it's fun how they incorporate that in the music. It says that the basic track was recorded at a faster tempo, and then I think they slowed it down in recording it, you know, onto tape. So a really cool effect there, showing them playing with those tricks in the studio. And then I have to mention also, because it's probably the most experimental song on the record, is the final track, Tomorrow Never Knows, which is just really cool recordings of different sounds and stuff, a tape loop, I think, of these different effects and things. And it's a really brilliant pastiche by John Lennon that really closes this album and gives that more mystic Indian nature that they're going for with this album. They're really experimenting with that. This is talking about a spiritually enlightened state achieved through meditation, talking about a Buddhist ceremony is kind of what they're trying to showcase here. So it showcases the Beatles really experimenting in that style, and I find that really fascinating. So those are some of my picks and interesting things that I liked.
Those are good picks.
Yeah.
I like the album as a whole. I thought it was good and solid, and Beatles are pretty cool.
Beatles are pretty cool. We did Abbey Road last year. That was like our first one we did. Yeah, season 1. And so
this is the start of season 2. So.
How do you think this stacks up to Abbey Road, perhaps? Do you prefer this Beatles album or that one? Do you remember it enough to say?
What were the songs on Abbey Road?
Because that's a little bit, later in their career. So that's a couple albums removed from this one. But it has Something. It has Here Comes the Sun. Has the whole suite on side 2 that goes through several different tracks, but they all kind of work together as one suite of music. Octopus's Garden is on that as well. Probably too far back in your memory to really compare, I'm guessing. That's fair.
It's so sad that songs do not stick in my head.
I just thought it would be fun.
I'm looking at the titles of these and I remember them.
You remember? Okay.
Yeah. I think I probably liked Abbey Road better.
Okay.
I mean, I liked this.
No, that's fine. So... I like Abbey Road better too, so it's
okay, good.
Not a
I'm not like so out there.
No, it's not a bad take. Yeah. I mean, they're all classic albums, so there's really no problem with one over the other.
I think I like the sound of the songs on that.
I like it more too because Abbey Road just shows further progression in their sound and more of that experimentation and proggier stylings and just bringing it almost near to the 70s, which is probably my favorite decade for music. So I think it's closer to that sound, where this is a bit more raw and like doubling into the early Beatles sound a little bit more. So, which I like too, but just if I had to pick, Abbey Road. I don't know.
So, but in season 2, so far, it's ranked as number 1.
Yeah, this is our first one. We usually rank the albums at the end of our episode, but since we're starting fresh with season 2.
Comparing it to other albums that we've done in this series, and so we're starting with season 2, so this is the first one. It's the only one on the list, so it's number 1 right now.
Our number 1.
It's a good one.
All right, cool. So now to kind of tease next month's album that we're going to do. What do we got? This is one I've been excited to do. I actually got a copy of this like last year at some point, expecting that we'd cover it. It's this one.
Wait.
Supertramp.
Haven't we done a song of
Crime
this?
of the Century.
I recognize this cover.
Yeah, we've done a song from this as one of our Prog Song Sunday episodes. We did School, which I think is the very first song on it.
Are there only eight songs?
There's 8 songs, yeah, 4 on each side. So, a little bit longer songs than what we saw in Revolver, which Revolver songs are pretty short.
I have to say that I appreciate that about Revolver, that all the songs are really short.
2 to 3 minutes.
3 minutes, and I'm like, perfect.
That's what you want. Yeah, this one, some of the tracks are a bit longer. There's a lot more proggy influence to this one, but it's a lot of people who love prog music like I do hold this up as like a classic, so I think it'll be a fun one to go into. And I'll have to pick another song to react to that's not School.
Yeah, we've already heard School.
So we'll have heard like a quarter of the album.
Link to that video right here if you want to see our reaction to School.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll put it in the link. So, does that seem fun?
Yeah. I'm just looking at all that.
Yeah.
This is what the record is in.
Yeah. It's a older copy, so it's a little bit used, but
it like smells old.
Yeah.
Like old paper,
But it's really good sound quality, so I was pretty impressed with the record itself. Sounds really great. So
the cover looks pretty good too.
Yeah. So pretty good copy. Excited. Supertramp is a fun band because they're one of those ones that are prog adjacent. Like a lot of people who like prog like them, but they're not really technically maybe a prog band, kind of like Queen and some of their early albums too.
I feel like before when we had done School, like I had never heard of them.
Yeah.
So
their most famous album is Breakfast in America, which I'm also considering possibly for a future episode. But I thought this is the classic one that really speaks more to prog fans. So
okay.
But we'll probably do the other one at some point in the future. In a future season.
I'm excited. Supertramp. Crime of the Century. Next.
That's next on our list. So hopefully you guys enjoyed what we had today with the Beatles. Let us know in the comments below if you have any thoughts about Beatles Revolver, what your favorite tracks are from it, and any suggestions for future episodes of classic albums. I'm always looking for like more albums that we can cover in the future. I have a pretty good list going, but I'm always looking for other ideas also. So I think we're good.
I'll try and use that for the
thumbnail.
I mean, that's all we need. We just need one little picture.
All right.
The end.
All right. Thank you everybody for joining us.
Adjourned.
And hopefully you're out there enjoying the music, and we'll hopefully catch you in a future episode. Bye everyone.
Bye. Subscribe.